This is an unrehearsed interview with Mr. Paul Joseph, 1963 Pontiac Master Salesman's Guild President, Silver Chapter. In this interview, Mr. Joseph will tell us about some of the sales methods which have helped him sell more than 400 new and used cars a year and earn an annual gross income of more than $24,000. He is employed by the Peter Epsteen Pontiac Company in Skokie, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. He has been selling Pontiac cars for the past 6 years. He first discusses qualifying.
Well, let me start it from the time the customer walks in the door. I approach them, I introduce myself to them, and I ask them their name. I do this in as pleasant a manner as I possibly can, and I make them feel at ease just as quickly as I can. And if they say we just want to look around, or if they seem evasive, I try even harder to make them feel at ease. This is the one that I'm very, very careful with, because the man that came in to just look around, in my opinion, is your hottest prospect. And I don't try to be specific with them. I don't try to qualify them. I start to show them around. I'll show them cars, I'll show them the service department, and while I'm showing them cars and the service department, I'll listen carefully to what they have to say. And you'll almost always get a comment from one or the other. Gee, this looks nice, or isn't that a pretty color?
These are selling signals to you then.
Right. Somewhere along the line, and this is an intangible thing, you've got to feel it and you've got to sense it. When you see some interest shown in a color and a model, this is the car that I'll start to show them the interior on, and the appointments. Once I get an indication from them on the type of a car they like, then as far as I'm concerned, they have qualified themselves. Now what I must do is sell the deal, the dealership, because in most cases I've already sold myself.
Paul Joseph next comments on car presentation.
Do you have a set presentation?
No. You mean if I have a point by point that I go through with everybody? No. I play it by ear. Now, on the person that comes in and is specific, he comes in and he says, I would like to see a Bonneville and a two-door hardtop, or I would like to see a Grand Prix, or whatever model he may be interested in. Then I have what you could call a set presentation. I will go over the car with him point by point. Styling features, wheelbase, frame, body construction, engine mounting, transmission, heater, the type of accessories that he may be interested in.
Next came the question of demonstration.
I feel that it's very necessary and very important. I feel that getting the customer out in the new car, getting the buyer to handle the automobile, letting him get the feel of the car and the excitement of being in a new car that he might possibly own, I think that this is a very, very important factor in the sale of an automobile. And I will do it in every possible case. And once I get them inside the car, I'll turn the key and away we go. I won't say demonstration, I won't mention demonstration. Let's go for a ride and see how the car handles, how it feels.
Do you have a set route over which you take your prospects or your customers?
Most of the time, yes. If the buyer is an over-the-road salesman, or if he's a man that spends time on the expressways, I'll take him out on the expressway in this car. If he's the average driver, I'll take him on a local route.
Do you point out any of the ride or handling features when you're out driving the car?
The one big feature that I will always point out is the stability of the car on the road. And believe me, there is no car that's more stable on the road than a Pontiac.
You point out the reason for the stability?
Yes, always. To me, the wide track is one of the biggest single selling features. The biggest, and remember I qualified it, the biggest single selling feature that we have in that car. It makes our car one of the finest handling cars on the road today.
The close was the next topic of discussion.
After we return to the dealership, we go into the office. From the first word that comes out of my mouth until they walk out the door with or without a car, I start to close. What I have to write, I write out in front of them where they can see me writing, out in the open. I have nothing to hide from them. This is what I have to offer, and this is how much it's going to cost you. And if you want to buy from future income, this is how much you can pay per month.
What would happen if after you come back from the ride, they go into the office and they say, well, how much for that car out there? Then what do?
I'll tell them.
Then they say, well, that's so many $100 more than it was at another dealership that we were at.
That may be entirely possible. That happens, and it happens frequently.
What do you say to them then?
There is no need for a comparison. You're driving a 1959 Model X. It has a current market value of $500. I'm allowing you $1,000 for it. The new car costs X number of dollars. Because along with the car that you buy is the service that goes with it. In our agency, I become specific in this respect, that our men are the best servicemen obtainable anywhere. They have experience. There are no all-around men. The tune-up man is a specialist. The front-end man is a specialist. The transmission man is a specialist. And the car that you're buying is no better than the dealer that you're buying it from. And the price, if it's within line, makes this the best place to buy your Pontiac from. And I can look a guy in the eye and tell him that and mean it. Believe me, mental attitude has sold more cars for me than any other single item in the world. Mental attitude, when you sit across a desk from that buyer, and believe me, he's a buyer, and you look upon him as a buyer, you look upon him as a man that's ready to sign the order, and you ask him to sign the order. And if he doesn't want to sign the order, you ask him why he doesn't want to sign the order. Because he'll never get a better deal at a better agency buying a better product. And it's important that I do this, and it's important that every other salesman selling Pontiacs does this. I never take no for an answer. Somebody that's in an automobile showroom is there for a reason, even if it's only to kick a tire or slam a door. They didn't come in for nothing. They came in because they were interested. If I cannot close them the first time I see them, I will maintain daily contact with them for the first week to 10 days. It's been my personal experience that this is when the prospect is the hottest. If after 10 days I haven't closed them, I'll maintain twice a week contact with them until I sell them or until someone else sells them.
Here, Paul Joseph talks about time management.
Now, I try to budget my time as carefully as I can, because that's the only thing I have to offer is my time. And my time has to be turned into X number of dollars per day. I believe that you have to work with a definite plan. And by a definite plan, I don't mean that at 9 o'clock you're going to be doing this and at 10:30 you're going to be doing that. But I do believe that a salesman must budget his time just as he budgets his money, because his time is money. I go in at 9 o'clock in the morning. and I will clear up any paperwork or odds and ends that have been left over from the previous day. And once I get this out of the way, I'll call everyone that I have talked to the previous day or for the previous several days. And I'll try to maintain a daily contact with any prospect that I have had whom I have not sold. And once I get my calls out of the way, then I will check service. I'll go into the service department and I will check customers' cars that might have been brought in the previous day or might have been brought in that morning. I'll check the repair order to see what's on there. If there's anybody lingering in the service department or waiting for their car, I may stop and chat with them. Service is a good source of prospects.
After you spend the time which you feel is necessary in the service department, then what would be your next area of concern?
Then I will come back and I will call people whom I have delivered within the previous 10 to 20 days.
What do you ask them?
How is their car running? How do they like it? Do they have any complaints? I make arrangements to get them back into the service department if I feel that they've got something that should be looked at immediately.
The rest of a typical Paul Joseph sales day included calls to bird dogs, calls to old owners for specific trade-ins, handling direct mail.
The evening is generally busy enough so that you don't have too much time to do anything except make the calls that you were unable to complete earlier in the day. And that's about all you have time for in our agency.
And finally, a personal attitude in selling.
I think that the manner in which the man tells the customer has got to be the convincing thing. To sit there and say, Pontiac has engineering excellence is not going to get the job done. You've got to believe that Pontiac has engineering excellence. You've got to believe that Pontiac is the best car built today. And you've got to believe that the dealership in which you work is the best dealership in the world. And if you don't believe that, then by golly, you've got no business working in that dealership. If you can't like and respect and admire the man for whom you're working, then go and find one whom you can like and admire and respect. Because you'll make more money, you'll be happier doing it. I don't care if it's selling oranges or apples or Pontiacs. The first basic ingredient to success in this business, or in any business, is to like what you're selling, to have faith in your product, and to sell it for someone whom you can work for and respect and know that you're doing the right job for the right man with the right product.